All right, welcome. This is the first required meeting of the 2020-2021 season, and it's exciting. I think that we've gotten some news that wrestling is underway somewhat. Again, not everything is guaranteed, but we are getting closer. Real quick, a couple housekeeping things. These meetings are tracked, so if your name is not your first and last name are not in the participants list, not in the chat, just the participants list, it'll be, this is a small group. Like basketball, we have 400 on the call, so it's easier to organize that. But if you could put your first and last name, that'll help us out. And then you'll receive an email with meeting attendance when we have one of these regular meetings. So with that, this is a great group. We love this group. So with that, I'll pass it on to Dana.
Thank you, Nate, and good evening, everybody. Many of you I've seen pretty much every month since like April. So we've been doing some off-season wrestling webinars, and it's certainly nice to see everybody back on and a little bit closer to the start of the season, although it's not at all a traditional season this year. But I think at this point, all of us will take any season we can get in any way, shape, or form. So tonight's meeting is really going to be a run through for our officials about the NMOA, the NMAA kind of documents that affect you. It's for those of you who are newer to the association, it'll be a good introduction. For those of you who are veterans, it'll be a good review. So many times, Nate and I get calls from people who have been around for 20 years, and they'll go, well, I never know that we had to go to a state clinic, or I didn't know we had to do this or that. So it's a good reminder just to talk a little bit about our structure, our governing documents, and what this season's gonna look like. So I am going to share my screen, and I've just got a little, yes, we are recording, Scott.
Oh,
so
yes, I will also backup record.
Absolutely. So I did warn Nate, 2 nights in a row, I've gotten home from work to find my internet is down. Yesterday I ran to the office. Today I've just started unplugging and plugging stuff back in because I heard that's a tech fix. If something doesn't work, you just turn it off and turn it back on and it works. And sure enough, I reset my internet. I felt like a technological genius. So Nate is doing a backup recording. If something drops, if my internet drops, Nate is he's the host, so he's able to kind of pick up where I'm leaving off. So if I drop off, it's not because I don't enjoy your company, it's because technology sometimes isn't as great as I would like it to be. So can you see my screen?
We can.
Awesome. Alrighty, so we'll get started, and this is recorded, so that way if there's anything you want to go back to later, you'll have it. What we do is anybody who misses meetings, we have a recording, and then we send a recording of the meeting with an assignment for them to be able to make up the credit. So it's not like if you miss, you won't meet your requirements. We try to give every opportunity for people to make things up. So again, welcome. And here's your agenda for the night. We will take probably under an hour. We've been kind of flying through these. And then at the end, certainly if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. If during the course of this you have any questions, you can either put them in the chat and Nate and I will kind of tag team that, or you can just unmute and ask. It's a small enough group that it's not going to be mayhem if you decide to do that. So here's what we'll be talking about tonight.
Real quick, Dana, do we have any brand new officials on here?
Yeah, I'm brand new.
All right, Nick Pacheco, welcome. Anyone else?
Brand new.
Jeff Green. Jeffrey, do you like Jeffrey or Jeff?
Either one.
Okay. Jeffrey Green, welcome. And really quick, if at any point you are lost or you don't understand, absolutely just ask us questions and we'll break it down. Sometimes I think we forget that new officials really don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And so if there's something you really want to ask, feel free. And we have such a great group of veterans on here. They can also help you. So stop us at any point. You're not going to offend us or upset us. We want you to have all the information you can before leaving today.
Definitely. The more you work with officials, you don't get very offended because some of the phone calls I get are pretty offensive. So I'm no longer sensitive. But welcome. And what we're doing this year, just so you know, normally those of you who have been around for a while know that we usually do not have online meetings. The online meeting format is because of COVID. So our friend, the pandemic, is the gift that just keeps on giving. So this year for all sports, we have transitioned to online meetings, and regardless of what the public health orders, since we started in this format, we're going to finish in this format for all sports. So I will tell you that one of the benefits has been the ability for the entire state to be together, to hear a consistent message, and also to be around, even though it's virtual, to be around officials from across the state. So I think sometimes we get wrapped up in our region or our group, and this is a great way to really unify the NMOA as a state. So, for the off-season meetings that we've been having since April, it's been awesome because we've had people from all parts of the state, and it's just the camaraderie that exists, especially in the sport of wrestling, is special. So I think that this kind of fits in with how you all function when you're together at tournaments and whatnot. So introductions, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dana Pappas. I'm the Commissioner of Officials for the NMOA, and we have 10 sports that we sanction. I'm in my 24th year at the NMAA, and all of those have been spent working with officials. So I started in Nate's position and then have worked my way up, and really the thing that has kept me going all these years is the relationship and the ability that I have to work with officials in our state. We have the best officials in the country. I say it all the time, and I don't just say it to blow smoke. I say that because I absolutely mean it. So we have a great group. Those of you who know me know that I'm all about the officiating family, as is Nate, and we're here to support you. So at the end of the day, we are advocates for you, we serve you, and we try to help in any way that we can. So as I alluded to, Nate Acosta is my assistant, and he's my right hand, and some days my left hand, and some days I'm not there, so he's both hands. So Nate and I have worked together prior. He was one of our basketball officials. He still does officiate, but he's worked many sports, and he came on board 5 years ago.
I'm in my fifth year.
Okay, man, time goes quickly. Nate is somebody who has officiated, and because of that, he's able to relate a lot with regard to, walking a mile in your shoes. So a lot of what we do with technology, a lot of what we do in terms of training are 1000% the brain children of Nate. So he is somebody who, I was talking to staff members today, Nate kind of blew a second life into my career when I was starting to stagnate, and having him on staff has really reinvigorated and revitalized me. So I've been appreciative of that, because he's somebody who he doesn't let me get complacent, and that's good for all of us. So Nate is a person who handles all of the registrations, all of the rule books, all of the attendance. He's really your point man with a lot of what you do as officials. So the officiating department, as we call ourselves the department. There's 2 of us. So it's a pretty small department, but we enjoy working together, and we both have an extreme passion for officials and for officials in our state. So we have an open door. We're not always easy to get a hold of, just because we wear a lot of hats, but we'll always get back to you as soon as we can if we're not readily available. But always know that we're here to listen. And if there's changes you think need to be made, let's talk about them. So we're very open, and we want to listen to your ideas and feedback. Nate, were you gonna say something?
When Dana says that we have the best officials in the country, obviously we think that, but we're also told that. I want you to know that everybody in the country looks to our association as an example for what we do, and that really starts with you all. In the Dana and I, a lot of times we get acknowledged, but ultimately it's really the officials that make our job great. So for that, we appreciate you.
Absolutely. The varsity regional assigners, so they're part of the structure within the officials. In the sport of wrestling, we have 4 varsity regional assigners, and their job is exactly how it sounds. They assign matches, tournaments, duels, any of that. So our assigners in the central region is Rusty Davidson. The northeast region is Adam Martinez. The northwest region is Jason Hare. And the southwest, southeast, all of southern New Mexico is Armando Juarez. So as you kind of get to know wrestling officiating in New Mexico, most of our southern officials are in El Paso. So we have some dual residents, and we're certainly appreciative of them, because if we didn't have our El Paso brethren, we wouldn't have southern officials for the most part, outside of, I believe, Mika Trujillo and Roswell. So we're very appreciative of our El Paso officials and everything that they do for us as well. Group leaders. So while your assigners are basically, they're in charge of assignments, they do a lot of training as well, but your group leaders are really who the educational leaders are of the association. They run the meetings in normal years. And they're the people who develop that curriculum and help out with mentoring and all of that stuff. So our group leaders in Albuquerque, Elaine Chavez. Who is the Northwest group leader now in Farmington? Is it Paul?
It still shows as Paul, but we're going to be talking about that as a group up here.
Okay. So we've had some changes, and I believe Mondo, are you group leading as well?
Yes, and just like Jason, we're going to talk about that here sometime this summer and make sure that we change who that individual is. It really shouldn't be me doing both hats. So we'll probably have a new group leader here soon.
And then Adam, who's group leading up in the northeastern part of the state?
That's me as well.
Okay.
We haven't really officially had someone else take over the reins. I kind of took over it last year after we went to the regional signer position.
Gotcha.
But no, that's something I guess we could discuss to see if we could get someone for that as well. So
sounds like a plan. So that's kind of structurally how it looks within the NMOA with the officials world. Sorry, it helps if I know how to change a slide. All right, so the NMOA is part of the NMAA. So the NMAA, of course, is the New Mexico Activities Association, and it is the entity that sanctions high school sports in the state of New Mexico and junior high sports. With eligibility, with state events, with our handbook. Everything that the NMAA does is membership led. So anything that's in the NMAA handbook is determined by our member schools. The NMOA is essentially a program under the NMAA. We're a line item in the budget as well. And our association obviously takes care of the training and education of 1,700 officials in 10 sports. As far as who you contact, the people that you will have the most contact with, although you can contact anybody in our office, Scott Owen is our director of wrestling, and he would be the person that you contact if you've got questions about the administration of the sport of wrestling. Anything that has to do with rules, NMAA handbook items, any of that would be Scott. And we're very fortunate in the state of New Mexico to have the best wrestling administrator in the country. If you know Scott, I think you would agree with me. Scott is unbelievable, and he has added so much to the sport as the director. We're just so lucky to have him. And on top of that, he also is a science guy, so he helps a lot with sports medicine advisory and a lot of the stuff with his science and medicine background. I believe he has a degree in biology. He was a two-time All-American wrestler himself. He is wrestling, so we're very lucky to have him. And then for officiating stuff, like I said, Nate is going to be your main contact as far as anything with your registration, testing, rule books. And then Nate or I can help you with anything that has to do with the Constitution. If you're having problems, if you've got some kind of dispute with somebody within the association, anything that's a code of ethics, code of conduct, those are really the things that I kind of take care of. And then, Nate and I work collaboratively in pretty much everything that we do, aside from technology, which I pretty much leave to him because you don't want me handling that portion of this job. So moving right along. Whoa. Oh, Nate's screen sharing. Are we at that point? Oh, you're muted, Nate.
Sorry, I just wanted to share the how to find the Constitution. If you actually go to our officials website or our NMAA website, nmact.org, we do have an officials tab here. This will take you to our central hub and part of this, but when you talked about as far as Constitution and everything else, anything you need to know, if you want to know how much you're going to get paid to drive from one place to the next, there is an officials mileage chart somewhere in here, right here. If you run into issues in one of your matches, or you have an ejection or a disqualification or whatever the case may be, you're going to fill out your incident report here. That will go to Chris Kedge. If, you know, and again, our Constitution, and I think we get into that just a little bit later. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a couple repetitive things just so you know where to find it.
And really everything, everything that you could think of is on that website. So if you're looking for something, it's likely there. If you aren't sure of where it is, just let us know and we'll be able to point that out to you. Sorry, I'm not as tech savvy as Nate, obviously. Alrighty, so as Nate mentioned, he just showed you where the Constitution is. Within the Constitution are 3 sections. There's a Constitution, which is about 2 pages long, and it basically just talks about who the NMOA is, what we do. Bylaws, that's got more of the codes of conduct, membership status, all of that. And then advancement and certification criteria is done by sport, and that shows what you need to score on your test, how many clinics you need to go to, how many local meetings you need to attend. Anything that affects you as a wrestling official would be in that advancement and certification criteria portion. So as I said about the NMAA, the same holds true for the NMOA. We are membership led. Everything that's in that NMOA Constitution has been voted on by the membership. So if you ever look through those documents and that Constitution and you think there's stuff in there that just doesn't make sense or doesn't serve officials, you have the right to change that. So the process for that would be sending me an email with what your proposal is for change, and we will actually take that to the board of the executive board of the NMOA, and they would actually go through the process to try to get that passed. Everything goes through the board for approval and then referenda back to the officials to actually vote on things that affect them. So if it's in that 3rd section, it goes to just the sport. If it's in the Constitution or bylaws, it goes to the whole officiating membership, which I said is about 1,700 officials. So this year, because it is the weird year, officiating in 2020, 2021, meetings will be virtual. You all got the invitation for tonight's meeting, which also included a schedule for the rest of the year. As you know, we've got tonight, which is us, and then next week we've got the district clinic and the state wrestling officials clinic on back-to-back nights. And then after that, we roll into meetings that the regional assigners will be presenting, and you all saw that schedule. If you didn't see it or you need another copy, just shoot me an email and I'll get that to you. So that is the big change for this year. Because they are virtual and they're being recorded, everybody has a good opportunity to meet their meeting attendance mark, which is 6 is what's required for wrestling officials. We are being rather lenient this year just because of COVID and everything being kind of out of whack, but we want to see that people are at least making an effort to be active participants, to give them credit for this year. The good thing about this year is you can't move down in rating, you can only move up. So even if you don't meet your minimum matches or duels or however it's worded in the Constitution, you won't lose any ground. And then working matches, obviously, as the season starts, we'll be sending out more information, and also you'll hear next week during the district and state clinics about how everything's going to look with COVID. So if you have questions about those, wait until next week, because I think Scott's probably still finalizing guidelines at this moment. So we'll go over all of that as far as what it's going to look like in the COVID era. And hopefully it's only for this year, goodness gracious. And one thing you'll notice is there will be a lot more communication between our office, your assigners, and the officials, just because there's going to be so many changes. I mean, we're in fall sports right now, and every day we're dealing with schedule changes because of, schools who are, they've got kids getting COVID and they're having to reschedule. So you'll hear a lot more from us. And I know those of you who have been around are like, how do you send more emails, Dana? You already send 50,000. So you'll see more. So just make sure anything that you see that's an update, just make sure that you're reading those, because it could impact the match you're supposed to be calling, the tournament you're supposed to be calling that night. So just be aware that you'll see a lot more coming from us. So I'll turn it over to Nate, and he's going to talk to you a little bit. The online meeting system is pretty easy. You registered tonight, you're here. So apparently you knocked that one out. So I'll have Nate talk to you about membership cards, meeting attendance, arbiter, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So if you are registered, you should have received, and I couldn't remember if I had sent you as your welcome email and membership card a few weeks back, and then I sent it again this week. You should have received it, and let me see if I can't pull one up. Since I am here, I should have done that while Dana was prepping me. Welcome. Let's see.
While you're doing that, Gerald just put a message in the chat, so I can stall for a second. So one of the things that NMOA is really trying to do is some outside of the box stuff. So right now we're in the process of revising our constitution, which Jet Gomez is on. He's a part of that committee. We're revising our athletic officials manual, which Gaten Falance is on, and he's helping. And then we also have a diversity and inclusion panel, which you've seen some emails go out. Gerald Baca is on with us tonight. I love how active these wrestling officials are in what we're doing. And Gerald will actually be he's on the panel, and he'll be doing our first presentation tomorrow night. So if you have the time tomorrow evening, please join us. It'll be good stuff. Nate and I really like that panel and the work that they're doing. So Gerald, thank you for reminding me of that.
Can you all see this email?
I can.
All right. So on the far right, you'll see that you should have received the welcome email, and it's letting you know that this is definitely a year that's been a little crazy. You're going to find the information. In this case, we're using Shane's email, or Shane's membership. He's part of the Southwest Las Cruces group, so he's part of Mondo's assignment group. He is a paid varsity and sub-varsity official. No, the reciprocal officials, even our folks from El Paso, which make up a majority of the Southwest region, they could register as reciprocal because they are dual state, and their primary state is Texas. But they actually are full paying members within our association, which makes them eligible to work postseason. So if you live in the metro, like central region, and you're not in a bordering town in New Mexico, and your primary state is not Colorado, Arizona, or Texas, or Oklahoma, you are not a reciprocal official. If you don't officiate in any other state, you are not a reciprocal official. You are either a sub-varsity official, or you are a varsity and sub-varsity official. So I always tell people this all the time when asking, well, if I'm only going to do sub-varsity, which in the sport of wrestling, I think you come in and you start working varsity right away because of the shortage, if I had to guess.
Mondo's laughing, so.
Yeah, but I always recommend that officials all come in as varsity and sub-varsity, even if you don't work a varsity schedule your first year. And the reason being is right now, currently the way that our bylaws work is, in other sports it's different. In wrestling, it's a little bit different. But in wrestling, I believe that you can become state eligible in 3 years, Dana, because it goes apprentice, registered, state eligible. And so if you go sub-varsity, the way that our bylaws read right now, if you register for sub-varsity, and then you decide next year you want to register full varsity and sub varsity, well, you lost a year of eligibility and you can no longer work a state tournament or district, any kind of postseason until your fourth year, where if you register your first year as a varsity and sub varsity, you would be eligible in your third year. So we don't want you to lose that year. In other sports, it's 4 years. And if you register sub varsity your first year, you lose a year. So it could take you 5 years. And so that's kind of why I always recommend that, you know, even though you may not work varsity and sub varsity, it's just better to have your status, because even though this year you're thinking, I'll save $20 since I'm not gonna, you know, or what is it? Yeah, $20 because I don't, I'm not gonna work any varsity. Well, it will cost you in your third year, and you're gonna be like, oh, I could have been working state wrestling tournament. But so that's what that means. But if you're not in another state and your primary state is not New Mexico, then you're not a reciprocal. And we get so many people that will either select that dual state or reciprocal registration, and that's what that means. So
They go, oh, only $20. That's
yeah,
what
and
okay.
it is cheaper, but and then I have to, if you're in Albuquerque, I know for a fact that you're not a dual state, and then you've got like Jed's been working in Colorado, but his primary state is New Mexico. So he still is not a reciprocal official, because we do give him rule books and we pay his insurance and everything else. So.
And good reminder. Thank you, Gerald. Elaine, that was not an intentional omission. Elaine is on our diversity and inclusion panel, and we actually have 2 wrestling officials who are presenting tomorrow night. It's our smallest sport, but man, we have some powerhouses. Elaine, my apologies. Gerald, thank you for keeping me in line. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And then if you, as we move down the email, you'll see that this is your membership card. For you newer officials, we used to actually mail a membership card due to COVID. We've done everything kind of electronic, which I think we're going to keep this process here. But here's your membership card. You should have received this. You can either print this, save the image, put it on your phone, and this will get you into wrestling events around the state, given that the county is allowing fans, and 2, that the school is actually allowing spectators. If the school's not allowing spectators, then you cannot attend. But this membership card should get you into most events in the state, given the fact that the school will allow you to. This is only guaranteed though at state events. So for example, if you want to just go watch the state wrestling tournament and in Albuquerque, this will guarantee that you get in. This does not guarantee you that you can go to Mayfield High School and watch Mondo do his thing if the school doesn't allow it, or they want to charge you.
So, though, to see Mondo, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't want to pay $5 for that.
Yeah, but so just because you have this card does not guarantee the school may charge you anyway, even though you're an official. But for the most part, most school districts are really good about this. Obviously, don't abuse it.
We're using these because it saves money, and without any income this year, we had to find a way to save money. So between the printing cost and the mailing cost of those cards every year, it was expensive. So this year, even though it was because of COVID, we kind of like the financial savings that we can use to do better things for the NMOA than mail cards. So you are right, Shane. You saw right through us.
And absolutely. And Shane, please do not share this with your wife and try to get into Ruidoso High School as Shane saw it. So, all right, but that you guys should receive
Nate,
that.
I haven't seen my wife in over 10 years.
Oh, sorry. Or a family member.
A neighbor.
Your neighbor. So, all right. And with that, again, meeting attendance will come out weekly, and you'll receive that email. If you're not receiving any correspondence from us, then just email us, let us know. And we've gotten a few of those. And what happens is Dana will she does her works her magic and fixes it, and then you should start receiving correspondence. But there are a few that miss some of the emails, and don't feel like you're bothering us if you just want to get included in that. So with that, I think I am done.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions to this point? Man, you guys are easy. I mean that in the nicest way. We're actually done, so that was fast. So on the screen are your contacts. Again, Director of Wrestling is Scott Owen, and then me and Nate. You can contact any of us. If you contact me and it's about something that's for Scott, I'll make sure he gets the information. We're all in one building. There's only 13 of us, so we'll get it figured out at some point. So again, let me pull my calendar real quick. Just so we can go over this. So next week, again, we've got the Wrestling District Clinic on Tuesday night, the 23rd, and that'll be at 6 o'clock. And that is really to go over NFHS rules changes, NMAA guidelines, and I'm sure a lot of time will be spent on COVID stuff and what your protocol is going to be this year for wrestling officiating. On Wednesday night, the 24th, is the state officials clinic. We usually have that live in conjunction with the wrestling coaches, but obviously nothing is live this year. So that's going to be on the 24th at 5:30. And we're actually going to do some film review and kind of a, if I'm understanding correctly from Rusty, kind of a you make the call situation. So we'll be doing that on the 24th. And then the following week will actually be a local meeting. So that week of the 29th will be an opportunity for the local groups to get together and talk about a local business that needs to be taken care of. If you've got to elect group leaders or, revise local bylaws, any of that stuff. Then we've got 4 straight weeks where the NMAA office will be hosting, but your regional assigners will be presenting. So that'll be on April 7th with the Central Region, 14th will be Northeast, 21st will be Northwest, and 28th will be the Greater Southern New Mexico region. I think that's why I'm renaming you, because it's all of Southern New Mexico. And then after that, you'll have an opportunity for local meeting to wrap up the season on the week of May 3rd. So that's kind of how the season is going to roll out at this point. The state wrestling championships are currently, as of right now, as of March 17th, they are scheduled for May 27th through the 29th. So as I mentioned earlier, any changes, any revisions that come up with how the season's going to look, we will notify you as soon as we know. So we try to operate on a once we know, basis, and sometimes it can change from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you get 2 emails on the same day, probably read the later one first because it's probably the most accurate. Nate, did I miss anything?
No, real quick, I wanted to, and Shane, I'll get to your question. Part of this introduction, obviously Rusty's not on, but if we can get our local or our signers to introduce themselves, and so Shane, I'll let Mondo go first, so that you know who your local group is.
Yeah, so my name is Armando Juarez. I'm the group leader for the South, basically Southeast, Southwest. And we run our meetings out of Las Cruces. Basically, we've got some individuals out of Las Cruces that live there. We've got Shane up in the Alto area, I think. And then we've got Mika out in the Roswell area. And Christian, a young JV individual, is out there as well. And then we've got a slew of El Paso folks that come back and forth between our season here in El Paso and Texas and back to and in the southern area, wherever the assignments are.
So
I think the thing that I had for the group is, I'm bad with names, but the two individuals, I think Tim and I forget what the other one guy's name was. What groups are you all from? The two new referees that signed for tonight. Where are you guys from? Are you from the north or from the south or from from the central? Where are you guys?
That was Nick and Jeffrey.
Okay, so Nick and Jeffrey, where are you guys? What chapter are you guys affiliated with?
This is Jeffrey. I'll be assigned to the central region. I live in Albuquerque.
Okay.
sorry,
Is Nick still on?
and Pat, was it
Nick
Pat?
Nick
No, that was
Pacheco
it.
is going to be out of Northwest.
Okay.
He's brand new to us, but he's definitely not new to the sport of wrestling. So we're definitely happy to have him.
He's
Hey,
very
that's good.
familiar
That's
to
a
me.
good
Where did he wrestle?
He wrestled for Piedra Vista.
I was like, I know his name, and it was driving me nuts. So thank you for that.
So Elaine, since Rusty's not here, do you want to kind of introduce yourself to Jeffrey?
Hello, Jeffrey. I'm Elaine. I am the president of the Greater Albuquerque Wrestling Association. So welcome aboard. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get your information, but you will be getting some emails from me or from us.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Elaine.
Welcome.
And congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, Northeast.
My name's Adam Martinez. I don't know if we've gotten any new officials signed up for our area or not, but it'd be good if we got some. I saw Gerald on. He's part of our group, but just excited to get the season going.
Awesome. All right, Jason in the Northwest. I know you spoke, but you want to go and introduce yourself?
Afternoon, everybody. Jason Hare. I'm Northwest assigner. Our area covers basically all the way up to the Colorado state line, to the Arizona line, down to Gallup, New Mexico, and then shifting across to Cuba and the north. I've been in the role for 2 years now and been officiating for 14, 15 years, somewhere in there. But super excited about the year. I know it's going to be different, but very excited to be on the mat and very excited to see all of our new officials coming out.
Awesome. So Mondo, I do have a question, and this is more so for Shane. For example, Shane is a multi-sport official. He does have, in a regular year, he would have a local group to attend meetings. Would he have to drive to Las Cruces just to go to a meeting, or what do you all do since you're all, what does Mika do when you guys have meetings?
So we used to do, and we've done FaceTime and Zoom or some other kind of video platform. And there's no way that I can have these guys drive for a meeting that's shorter than their drive front and back, right? So we'll probably use this platform, on the weeks that we have an open week. I'll set up an appointment with Dana and we'll have a local Zoom meeting like we've done in the past. But there's no way we can have these guys drive just for an hour meeting at the most.
Right.
Over.
But Mom, don't forget that to tell Nate that they still have to give you the credit card for after the meetings. Don't forget that. Shane still gotta pitch in, bro. Don't back out yet, bro.
Yeah, that's a local rule, Willie, and we don't discuss
sorry.
local
Did I
rules
say it out
in
loud?
public
I'm sorry.
forums. Yeah,
Sorry,
That's
Nate. I didn't.
That's local business.
Yeah, that's local business, bro. That's exactly.
This meeting is being recorded, Willie.
Sorry.
Do I need to edit that out? I can go back and figure
No.
out how to delete that out if you need me to.
I just said credit card. I didn't say any.
We just filled in the blanks with the rest of it. I got you.
Yes.
I don't know. Every time that Mondo sent that credit card up to pay for registrations, it gets declined. I don't understand.
The problem is not his. That's the problem.
Well, that's the reason why, because it says Willie Griffin on it. When Willie Griffin is like, no, he's a poor man. I need a rich man to help me.
I'm still waiting for my check.
Oh,
Quick
man.
email.
For
All
the
right.
new officials, we don't want you to ever be confused. There is a wrestling test that is required. But again, with those questions, Jeff, you'll want to ask Elaine. She'll give you the scoop on what you need to do, what you need to accomplish, how many meetings you need to attend. She's got the info, and she'll get that information to you. And she'll tell you how to find the test. So if you have those questions, just feel free to reach out to your local leadership. And same thing with Mondo or Willie or anybody, Mika or any of the veterans. Just they've been around, they know what to do. They'll help you. Don't ever feel like you just are confused or you don't understand the process. Ask the questions, and every single person on this call that's been around will be more than willing to help you. You know, you got Gaten there. There's just so many veterans, Jason, that are willing to help. So,
and reach out to us as well. We may not be able to answer a whole lot of the wrestling technical side. That's why we have Scott, but certainly anything that has to do with just the process or officiating or, any of that other stuff, please feel free to reach out. Like Nate said, we don't want you to ever feel lost in the shuffle. It can get kind of confusing when it comes to process and all of that, but that's why you have us. We're here. Nate and I, like I said, we are servants for you all, and we're here to take care of what you need and try to help you along the process. Just don't ever get to the point where you get, when you get to that frustration level, don't let yourself get there. Contact us before you're at that point of frustration so that we can try to talk you through it, because we want to retain the officials who we've had for years, and we also want to retain the ones that are just coming in. So that's what we're all here for. I did just put Nate and my contact information in the chat for those of you who don't have it. If you've been around the NMOA, I know you have these, and for those of you who are new, go ahead and feel free to contact us at any time. We finally have a function that I'm in love with, and that is the voicemail to email in our office. It's my favorite thing ever. So that way I can get your voicemails from my office at any time and try to get back with you as soon as possible. The second number I'm putting in is my cell phone. You can contact me on it. I'm a big texter, so a lot of times it's easier for me to text because Nate and I spend a whole lot of time on webinars, so I can usually text before I can pick up the phone. So I'll be honest with you about that.
Yeah, and that I will tell you that, and I'm a phone call type of person. If and really it's just so I understand. So call me, more than likely I'll answer. If I don't answer, shoot me an email. But just like Elaine asked me a question earlier, and I said, just shoot me an email so I don't forget, because that's kind of how I stay organized. So if you need me to get something done, shoot me the email. And I know Mondo does it all the time, and it may sit there for a day or two or a week in Mondo's case.
Wow.
But I do get to it, right, Mondo?
The word is eventually. I'm sorry. The word is yes, and pretty promptly. But really, it's soon enough, and one day, and after another reminder.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
At least he knows the process. Just send a reminder.
Exactly.
But every day Nate and I talk all the time about our officials. We love our wrestling officials. You're such a fun group, and I really. We've talked a lot about the silver linings of the pandemic, and one of them has been spending time with wrestling officials once a month. You guys are absolutely hilarious. Our state wrestling tournament officials meeting is one of my favorite meetings of the year, because you all just pick on each other, and I feel like part of the gang, because you don't hold back on picking on me, and I appreciate that. So you guys are a great group. New officials, you'll love working with these lady and gentlemen. It's just a family, dysfunctional at times, but a family nonetheless. So we love our wrestling officials and look forward to getting you all back to doing what you love, because we love being able to cheer you on and support you in that capacity.
And for you new officials,
and it goes on and on with
the
it goes on and on with the height requirement about being a wrestling official. It just doesn't stop. There is no height requirement. As long as you're 5 feet extra short, you're good. Jeff should know, because
thank God, Armando, right?
Yeah, thank God for 5 feet extra short. Elaine and I would be watching from the stands, seriously, and Jeff. Nate and Dana, I have a question. As of right now, 6:15, what's the schedule look like, right? What do we know? Any changes to what's been said already in terms of our season, our season starting, our schedule, anything like that? Is there any changes to that? No news is good news, maybe?
No changes as of now. Scott will definitely on the district clinic Monday, he'll go over anything that has changed.
Okay.
The only changes that have been made to this point are positive. It looks like they're letting us do more instead of taking more away. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that that trend continues. So we're really at the point right now with fall sports of just trying to encourage our schools to continue to do things to mitigate the spread and do things the right way. At the start of the fall sports season, we were seeing a lot of pictures of kids, playing football with their masks down around their chins. So we had to remind our schools, like, those are the pictures that get to the governor's office that are going to shut us down. So we've, fall sports have been kind of our trial run to make sure we're doing things the right way. And so far, so good. We have had some games canceled. We've had some events canceled because of COVID, but really, it hasn't been, I think, as many as we thought it would be, which is a good thing. So as of right now, it's a green light. Hopefully Monday when we have district clinic, it'll still be that way. And if not, I'm sure Scott will tell you. So.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions from anyone? Man, you all are, no wonder I like you so much. You're easy. I love this group. I always say you're easy and then that sounds really bad, but anyway, you know what I mean. So we do look forward to working with you all. Please reach out if you need anything, and we will do our best to keep you apprised of any changes or upcoming events or any of that. The process from this point forward will be, you'll get the first email for a meeting the Friday prior, and then you'll get a reminder the day of. So that way, if you're like me, when you get the Friday one, you probably go, and then you get the Wednesday morning and go, oh yeah, I have that tonight. So that's why I send two, but that'll be the process for everything. And if you ever don't have that passcode, just make sure you check your junk mail because they sometimes end up there. Oh, look, Shane's offering us dinner. So look in your junk mail, and if it's not there, let me know and I can make sure that you get that information. When I check my text, sorry, Adam, I apologize for missing that until you're already on, but I'm not always on the ball. Once these meetings start, I'm not looking at my phone too much, but have a great season, everybody, and we look forward to it, and we're at your service, and shout if you need us. So have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend coming up, and stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll get you back on the mat. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, how come you don't have a cool office like Elaine?
I don't know. That's a cool office.
Become a financial advisor and then you get this.
Oh.
Do you share that space or is that entirely you?
That's totally me.
Wow. Where is your office? Is it downtown?
Uptown?
Man, that is swanky.
Wow.
Usually I'm at home on my computer, but